Hello, everybody. So soon Davide is going to be joining us. Hello, Marina. Davide, I'm picking you up now. Great, it's coming. Hello.
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 Hello, Davide.
Hello, Davide.
Hello, Bruno. How are you?
Very good, and you?
Very good, and you?
I'm very fine
I
as
hear
well.
my
I
voice.
hear my voice.
Let's try to do like this.
Okay.
I put my...
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
how are you doing?
I'm very fine. And you? I see you're fine too.
Yes, in order to tune in for this talking, today I took my fins and I went to have a swimming, catch some waves, to have this
Nice.
beautiful, blessed contact with nature, with the ocean. It was very good.
Nice.
So,
And me, I went to the sea as well this morning.
how is that like?
Yeah, it was very nice, very clear water, and is a very beautiful day, no wind at all, and the water is starting warming up also, so it was very nice.
Nice, very nice. So people join us, everybody welcome. Yes, this is Davide Carrera. So I want to thank you very much, first of all, for joining me here in this chat. We don't know each other for a long time, but I felt from the very beginning a deep connection with you, and I'm very grateful because you've been always so kind to me. You know? And the first time you met in Spain, it happened I was so sick, but you took very good care of me, and it's something I carry close to my heart. So I big respect. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate
No,
your openness.
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you very much to you too for inviting me, and also for coming to visit me here. And I feel the same. We don't know each other from a long time, but yes, there is a good connection. I think when people they share the same thought, a little bit like the same philosophy, lifestyle, and respect for each other, for the nature, then it's very easy to feel like we are all brother, no? That
Yeah.
this is the most natural how should be, no? Feeling like we are all brother and all sons of Mother Earth. But sometimes in our crazy society we forgot this, and and we start to fight, but then at the end it's good to fight, but it's very nice to fight like thinking that the people you are fighting is your brother.
Yes.
And you are fighting like when you are a child, just to learn and to grow and to learn more about yourself.
That you don't fight to play fight.
Yes. Yes.
And for me, it was this. I could recognize very clearly this feeling of brotherhood, and
Yeah.
so it's a privilege, to meet those mind-like people, so we can transcend this feeling of having time in order to to build this trust and openness. So I think when it's there, so you can't help, and for me it was very clear this sense of connectedness towards you. So I'm very grateful that you're cultivating this brotherhood here.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yesterday I saw the live you did with Enzo, and was very interesting, and and I really appreciate all you said and all Enzo said. And I think the same about food, about the connection with the nature and everything. Yeah.
You know what? I think we could start off by digging and diving a little bit into your background as a freediver, because you're a very experienced freediver, and that was a hook how I got to know you. You know? I saw an interview with you on this how I call it, the cafe podcast, Freediver Cafe, no?
Yeah.
And I had seen several other interviews, but something was really striking to me that that I think that's where I felt a strong resonance. Now you seem to be completely outside the box, and I remember other interviews, people giving a bit more fixed recipes, like some protocols, and you seem to be completely free, and I think you're embodying this genuine sense of freedom in freedive. And so what about if you share a little bit your background, your experience, because I think you've been involved in this deep art for many years, maybe most of your whole life. So how come you start to explore these liquid oceanic terrains?
Yes. So yeah, thank you for what you said. I'm not yet completely free. Like you said, if I was already enlightened. I'm working on it. And also you said let's dig, and about to make like a smooth passage from the other live with Enzo, and about digging. I grow my own food, so I dig in the earth, in the ground to plant and, and grow my food, and then yes, I dig into myself and into the ocean when I go. I don't like to say dig into the ocean because it seems is something more. I caress the ocean, I prefer to say, and because the ocean is smooth, so we don't need to dig. I think I'm lucky because I started when I was a child. So starting when I was kind of free, because we more or less we born all kind of free, and then with all conditionment, all the culture, the many things around us, we lose a little bit our natural freedom. And so starting when I was a child, I taste the freediving, being free like a child, so just playing and feelings, and the pleasure of the water, the pleasure of this kind of freedom you feel when you are like flying into the water, and the freedom of feeling fear, of being scared, because of course also fear and being scared is a kind of taboo in our society, but it's also nice to be free, to be scared. And so because also fear is something that is a big master. And so when I was young, I really remember the fears and all the emotion I was feeling into the water. And then sometimes when we grow, we start to think we have to prove, we have to demonstrate how strong we are, and then we start to think sometimes too much about the results, the numbers, how many meter or how strong you are. And sometimes doing that, we forgot to feel and to keep this connection, this contact with the ocean, with ourselves, with our breath. That is very important to me. And yes, and then in life we have always up and down. We have times we grow, we have times we forget things, and then we become conscious that we have to take back the memories of being like pure, like a child, and playing and trying to work on this kind of freedom that we had, and trying to work to get it back. And so is what I try to do with freediving, but also with yoga, with meditation. Is all about, and also, for example, growing my own food is also a kind of freedom, and is a big luxury that because the freshness and the energy, the ions, the vitamins, the life that you can find in your own salad that you just collect from your garden is something you cannot buy in any shop, also the most beautiful organic shop. So this also is a privilege.
No, great. And so how you see yourself in this moment? Like, do you manage to keep this spirit fresh and free, or do you feel as we are aging there's maybe some losses? How are you balance out this connection of retrieving, like, your memories when you used to be free as a child, and with all the responsibilities? You have a child yourself now. I think it's we have a different level of relationship and perception towards life, and I think it's very challenging, as well said, because of all the conditionings and the kind of frames that sort of induce to live inside. And how do you modulate these aspects of being a father, at the same time, cultivating this fresh spirit?
Yes, I feel in some way younger and younger growing, because like I said before, there are up and down in life. So there are periods in which you are aging, and then there are other periods that you are kind of reversing this this aging and becoming younger again. To me, freediving, I'm an athlete, I do competition, and but to me, freediving is kind of martial art, and I always thought this, and I was thinking again also this morning when I was training in the sea, also this connection, between what you do and what I do, that at the end, yes, is a kind of martial art where the sea is your master, and you can fight with your master to learn, and you can is also a mirror. Like I imagine when you practice any kind of fighting, the people in front of you that you're fighting is a kind of mirror, is just showing you your weak point, and so it's teaching you how to become stronger. And the sea is the same. So because it's a kind of martial art, I like the idea of growing, but cultivating the energy and the consciousness, the knowledge, the wisdom, so that it will allow to me to be stronger when I will be older. It's not like a sport that if you don't do the best result when you're young, then you are finished. You can have very good if you keep training, and if you enjoy what you do, and is your passion, and you take care of your body, and then you can become stronger and stronger also. And about my son, also, to me, is a teacher, because he reminds me things of when I was young. With his pureness and his freedom, sometimes he inspired me very much, and so it's very good. And then, of course, I feel kind of responsibility. You know, I feel that I should try to don't die, because because I would love to spend more time with him, and so I think is another way of working on consciousness, you know, of trying to keep this connection with our also animal instinct, the survival instinct, that is something that is we all have and is very important. And if we keep in touch with this instinct, we can be much more safe. You know, we can understand when it's time to turn and go back to the surface. Or I imagine while you are fighting, is the instinct that can tell you when you have to give up. You know, if you realize that the person you are fighting is really much stronger than you, you just ask sorry, and and is a teaching, you know. And so, and also is a teaching about being humble, you know, to understand where your limits are and to accept your limits. And then of course you can work on your limits. That doesn't mean that you accept the limit in that moment, but then you can move your limit to become stronger in your body, in your mind, in your spiritual side, and yeah, to grow.
You know, it seems like you start to unpack lots of interesting subjects. You know, there's one thing that I would like to hear your perception, how you relate to. We noticed there has been a tremendous growth in is a kind of phenomenon now in the freediving is blooming very strongly lately. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't have so much experience, but what I am able to perceive, it's there was a very strong let's say sport orientation in freediving. You know, so
yes,
when people they go learning freediving, and there's all these safety protocols, you know, there's certain ideas and frames, people are sort of immediately induced to think that this is freediving, this is the way that you have to learn freediving. It's like there's no many varieties, many options, you know. But what to my limited experience, it doesn't seem to be very free, you know, somehow.
Yeah.
You know, I can understand maybe the underpinning motivations why people they need maybe like to you know to set the ground in such a way. On the other hand, it seems like a compromise, you know, or at least when I hear your experience, like the way you were learning, like how to freedive, like your philosophy, it sounds like you have two parallel universe, you know, and perhaps you could share a little bit like how do you, because you've been there in this field for many years, and probably you notice also like this lately growth and expansion and all the kind of mindset that is following up this growth. And how do you see like this phenomena, and with your philosophy, which I consider quite unique? Do you feel like a kind of a conflict, or do you feel that you'd like to bridge, you know, to offer other ideas and notions for this environment that seems to be a little bit more unilateral in certain ways, at least?
Yeah, I like the word bridge, you know, and talking from my experience, I started when I was a child, and so like I told you before, it was just playing and feelings and emotions and freedom, all these kind of things. Then I was also practicing sports since I was young. Like I was wintertime, I was swimming a lot in the swimming pool and doing some swimming competition. And so this was a good base on the physical, athletic side. So then I found myself good in freediving because I had a good training also in swimming, and I started to have good results in the competition. And I also saw how much the freediving world it grow in the last 20 years. So very much. And before was like people they were freediving, they were passionate of the ocean, so spending much time in contact with the nature. So they had the kind of lifestyle and this love for the ocean. Then with this expansion of freediving, and with all the freediving school and the freediving courses in the big cities, freediving started to be also a pool practice. You know, many people they practiced much more freediving in the swimming pool than in the ocean, and so it became a kind of sport more than a kind of lifestyle. You know, and but it's okay. I think. There are different steps, different level. In freediving, you can always go deeper, you know, and you can go deeper in your practice, in a sport level. But then when you do something concentrating more on the physical level, you can grow, you can make very nice results. But then I think you reach a point where you feel that is difficult to grow more. And so at that point, you have to work on the mental side also to understand how your psychological, your mind, it works, and how to trying to have also a strong mind. And then also with mind you can reach much more, but then there is a point where then also the mind start to be tired, and at that point I think it starts the spiritual side, and the spiritual side is like when you are physically tired, mentally tired, there is a point where you just surrender, and from the moment you surrender and you accept your vulnerability, you can have this feeling, if you believe in something that can be the power of love, of the energy of the universe, of the energy deep inside yourself, anything, but any kind of belief, and this can give you a kind of strength that you couldn't imagine before. And this also is a nice revelation. Then you understand that this energy, it comes also from the love that you feel for the environment, for the ocean, for the people around you, for the people you love, and so it's very nice. And when you realize this, then of course your perspective it changes, and also freediving it becomes more a kind of lifestyle, and you start to take care about many different things, and yeah. And then yes, for example, I started quite young to do competition, and then I saw the competition world kind of changing, because at the beginning was a meeting of people with very strong passion for the ocean. And then in few years it changed, and I saw more and more people that they were just going into the ocean like if they were going in a gymnastic center or in a swimming pool. So they were just thinking on the physical, on the strength, on the physical side, but not with this connection with the the ocean. And so I was a little bit upset. I was a little bit feeling like not this feeling of brotherhood with with other people. So I stopped for a while to compete, and then I went more inside the, like, yoga and practicing freediving just for my inner search. And then I felt again this feeling of going to compete again and trying to bring a message in the competition. So trying to be, like you said, a bridge between the ocean and the people, and trying to remember to people how important it is to keep this connection with the environment, with the ocean, with yourself, with the deepest side of yourself.
Right. And you know, I was privileged to be initiated in the world of freediving with the two unique guys as well. First one was Mario Blanco, and then follow up by Andreas Pepper. And Andreas was the one who told him about you. And my first experience was not a very happy one, because I got a mild ER trauma. So I remember, I had only 3 days left. So and I was going out of the doctor office, and he told me I could not go back to diving. But I saw the kites from distance, and so that afternoon I started doing the kite surfing. So I was kind of not frustrated all the way. But then that was in the hub, and a couple of months later I came back. So it was the time I got to know Andreas. And Andreas is very unique. He's a completely outside the box guy. He's super selective, and he has I can see his struggle even to socialize, like, even to match his ideas. And I think there's certain language and terminology he just can't compromise. And I feel like the value of what he does, especially because it resonates a lot with the way I approach martial arts. But it's not always easy to understand him, because he thinks in very complex ways. He managed to open up the space a lot, but to grasp exactly what he means, it's a nice challenge. So after the sessions, we're going to exchange a little bit experience. And I remember, after one session, there was something happening there. And because exactly we never went for numbers. We never concerned about how deep, how long. No, actually, he was radically against that. So it's all about playing. So it was about really cultivating this relationship to the ocean. So what happens there? It sounds like a bit of cliche, but I felt like the ocean become a portal. And there was something happening for me. I would say it was a mystical experience. So when we went back, and I was just in silence. So you sat in front of each other, and there was no need actually to talk anymore. No, there was this pervasive silence, and then I just couldn't help. There was like a tears just like rolling down my cheek, and I was looking at the ocean, and I felt like a mixed feelings, because it was so beautiful in a way. It was really, really beautiful, but also sad. So there was this mixture of sadness and beauty, and now all interwoven in a very poetic way. And from that moment, I got a glimpse what really is this freediving. And I don't want to be judgmental, but when I was going back to the sea and I was observing other people doing freediving, and it felt like the society mindset was still very much present in this need to achieve the outcomes and stuff like fuck. The portal is there, it's available, but in order to cross over, you need to have a different kind of perception. And I think this perception, it was, at least at a large scale, was not very well cultivated, because of all the values, like what gives the validity your identity as a freediver. So everything was so compact and so framed about this achievement that was in somehow compromising very much this possibility just to relax, to let the master of the ocean guide you instead of you trying to win the ocean by pushing your limits. So and that was actually for me a beautiful revelation, and that's also for me the hook that I came to you, because I was pressing Andreas a lot about like who are the people who in somehow he would respect or admire, and he would never talk so much. He was very reserved. But then eventually I heard your name. So then I came after you, and then when I started to listen to you, and I understood. And so for me it was very inspiring to hear your stories, like but you are a kind of person who, you were the bridge. You managed to navigate in these two worlds. You don't exclude yourself completely. You are allow yourself to function within these more conventional frameworks of competition, but at the same time you seem to be able to preserve these let's say this childlike spirit in combination with the deep wisdom that you also over time along the years you also bring. And this for me it triggers lots of fulfillment, like I really admire. And I remember, when you tell me the story that you lived in for many years in a boat, and then you also freediving now alone. And although there was all these tendencies for people to say you should, the rule number one, never freedive alone. So there was this spirit that you're sort of deviating from the from more the mainstream, because you were connected in a way that was so much more in alignment with the good sense that you don't need to have maybe a fixed protocols to tell us what is safe, what's not safe. There was another level of communication and relationship that should be a kind of a ground for us to orientate. I know that, but maybe if you cannot expect maybe people to have this relationship, then I understand why all these protocols. Otherwise, maybe lots of people would, have fatal experiences. Like, because if you go for, not for the feelings, but if you go for the ego, if you're ego driven, of course, and then the ocean is not be a portal, but the ocean is going to crush you. You cannot really.
No, it's also a portal, but to another life.
You'd like to share a little bit your experience when you're like living in this boat. I don't know what's the name of the boat. It's not catamaran now.
It is a trimaran. So 3 hulls, and the name is Colomba. Colomba is dove. Is like the white bird of peace, the dove.
How many years
and
you're living in this trimaran?
I was living like from 2005 till like 5-6 years. I was like spending like almost all year on the boat. And then in the year after, I was sailing a little bit during summer, but not so much, because then I had my son. And so about the portal, of course, the ocean is a portal, and we are also portal. Our mind is a portal, our soul. With meditation, we can just enter this portal. The portal is everywhere. The ocean, it helps very much to get in this kind of meditative status. Like you said, many people, they don't see this. They don't see like freediving and the ocean like a medicine, because it's really a medicine. And you can really heal practicing yourself, your emotion deeply, and your spirituality, and so is very nice. But I don't want to judge and saying it's sad, you know, because like I said before, there are steps. Everybody has his own time to reach different level, and also rule I think are good, are important. Is like you said, for people that are not so connected with themselves, the rule are very important to save life, because of course a dolphin doesn't need a computer to see how deep it goes, or to limit himself, or to go with another dolphin because if he black out the other, because he's so connected with this instinct, the survival instinct, like every kind of animal. We forgot a little bit about our animal side. No? We live in a society that privileges the mental side, so we are trained to be so rational that we forgot how to feel our body. No? And so this is dangerous. When we cannot feel, then it's dangerous. And when we want to prove, when we are, like you said, driven by our ego, you know, we want to be the best, and we push, then it becomes dangerous. So of course it's very important to go with somebody else practicing and follow rules. But then is like in music, you know, is I remember in a movie there was this black guy that was a very good jazz player, and he said that at the beginning you have to follow, you know, the rules, to follow the music, also if it's boring, because when you start to play an instrument or to study music, can be a little bit boring, you know, to follow all the rules. But then when you master the rules, then you can work on finding your freedom and you are safe. And so in that moment you can start to play music like a nice jazz. And I think it's a little bit the same. So of course, if we start when we are children, when we are very young, we still have this connection with ourselves. We don't have a big ego. We have this connection with our animal side, with the survival instinct. So it's very good. But for people that they start freediving when are older, it's good to go step by step, and then to train to feel, you know, and also many people, of course, they see this kind of sport side, you know, they just are interested about how deep you go, or how many minutes you can hold your breath, and they're driven by the ego. But then they will reach a point where they feel frustrated, and the crisis is always a moment where you can make differences. You can choose. You are free to choose, or you abandon and you stop and you don't freedive anymore because you are frustrated. Or if you love so much what you are doing, you try to understand, and then you do the next step, and so you start to go deeper inside yourself to be able to skip this frustration and keep learning and keep progressing.
But it seems like we don't have so much a culture to embrace this crisis as a...
Yes, I know, but I think it's coming because also this experience we are living now with this quarantine, confinement, this crisis in the world, this, I think, also is a big help for humanity to start to think about how we live, to meditate a little bit, to take in consciousness of what we are doing, and is a little bit the same. We are living in a way that many times is frustrating. Many people are not happy about their life, and but we are free. We can change our life. Of course, is scary, to change life, because many times I see people that they work but they don't like their job, and so they are kind of sad and frustrated, but they don't change because they're scared of not having enough. And but the moment we become kind of stronger inside, and we said, okay, fuck this job, and follow what you feel you can do it, what your talent is, what your dream is, and trying to understand why I came into this planet, into this world, to do what, And the moment we discover through experiences, through meditation, to trying to go deeper inside ourselves, which is our mission in this life, then we can follow this mission, and then it will be a success. Also, if we don't make a lot of money, because in the moment we are happy about our life, we don't need much money. In the moment we have enough for eating and for living in kind of dignitous way, then we are the most rich person in the world. Also, if we don't have a big car, or the last iPhone, or the fashion clothes, and so we start to change our mentality. And I think this is really a moment in the story of this planet and of our history, like human beings, that we start to think about priority and start to change it a little bit, because I think in the last few decades, for too many people, the priority it was the money, or the number, the achievement, and we forgot about the health, the well-being of ourselves and of our planet. So I think it's very important now to focus again on being healthy and living in a way to respect also the planet, so that the planet can be healthy also, and the people around us can be healthy. And so we can think about our job, what we are doing. We are doing something that improves my own health, the health of other people, the health of the planet, or not. And we can try to change it a little bit each day.
Do you see yourself optimistic about this current global crisis?
Yes, I'm totally optimistic, because anyway, if we change, we survive. If we don't change, we will die. We will extinguishing.
Yeah.
Yes. And so the planet is enough to see in 2 months of confinement how much the sky and the ocean and the planet it take a big breath, and it recover very much from pollution just in 2 months. So imagine if we extinguish the planet, it will become again a paradise. And yeah, so it's okay. And then maybe from some monkey or from somewhere, and other human beings, they will develop again in this planet when it will be a paradise.
Another round.
Yes, and our souls, they will incarnate in this new evolution of human beings, and again living in paradise. If we will be, but I believe we can, we really can be able to go back, no, to a more natural lifestyle, and to transform again this planet into a paradise, because this planet is a paradise. We have just to learn how to respect it a little bit more, and also about freediving and going deeper. I believe that as more we learn how to respect ourselves, as stronger we becomes, because we becomes more natural, and naturally it is powerful, and yeah, and so we can also go deeper if we want to see just at the numbers. But the only way to go deeper is to start to don't think too much about numbers, and think before about our own health. So and then the numbers, they will come, but they will be the consequence.
Right. It reminds me a little bit what you said before, that perhaps you need this moment of frustration, this impasse, when you get stuck, in order to trigger, a real sense of transformation. As long as you are sort of flowing by life, in a relatively functional way, maybe you are not enough motivated to challenge a little bit the belief systems or the conditions you're kind of stuck in. And I think that's maybe happened in the specific frame of freediving. You said there was these levels of training for body achievement, but then there's another level when you have to face your mind. There's another strength, but then you also may reach limitations that then you need to transcend a bit further. And I think maybe humanity as a collective organism is also facing this turning point. Because maybe if you just have a quick fix, okay, you can just keep on going. And now I feel there was this big break in the reading you're coming from. So it's generating lots of questions, like lots of reevaluations. What is healthy? What works? What doesn't work? And how we want to relate to so simple, basic things like the social interactions of people. Suddenly, we never thought about that, but now we're deprived of even by meeting our relatives and touch each other's skin, and for some people even going out and breathe fresh air, taking some sun, and I think we are sort of plunged down on a quite extreme situation. And for sure, it's not comfortable, but I think we are given the chance to face big crisis, and then I think the question: are you going to have ability, to integrate that, and to go inside our cocoon, because we are now confined in this cocoon. What's going to be the metamorphosis? Are you going to become butterflies? Or we, as a caterpillars, we're going to succumb. No, we're going to die in our own desire and fear. I think the fear now is something that we are all facing so directly. But so the fear can be also great motivation for us to get to know ourselves. But when the fear is excessive, the fear also becomes very poisonous. So I think it's really a question of perception towards life. How are you going to handle? How are you going to manage it in this moment? So I'm very happy to to connect with people like you, because this message that you put out it's super motivating, it's super inspiring. So this is it gives me good feelings. However, more dramatic it looks like around, but to connect people like you, it's like it's a big opening. It creates lots of space, like to think in other ways, not only the way the mainstream is pushing on us, but hey, wait, there are other perspectives. We can dance with this and know.
Yeah, yeah. I think fears are very nice, because into fear, I think is where we are into fear is a moment where we can really grow and we can really connect with our spiritual side, because when we are in fears, we start to look for anything can help ourselves, to comes out of this fear. And so I really believe that fears and any kind of crisis and any kind of going down, darkness, depression is good to make a step. And also freediving, you go down into the darkness, and it's a little bit like dying, because you go far away from the light, from the breath, from the most essential things, the oxygen. And so it's a kind of dying. And then when you start to swimming back to the surface, it's like resuscitating. And so you learn through freediving to get into this darkness, and then coming back to light, and you learn that that it's okay, no? So you are not anymore so scared about a down, when you feel like depressed or in crisis, because you know that it's just a moment. It's just a moment you are going down, and then there is a moment you will go up again. Or not, but also at the end it's okay, because like you said, if you don't find a way to get out of your fear, you can be paralyzed by your fear, and you can die into your fear, but I had a pre-death experience when I was young. I had an accident in the ocean, and I was lucky. Then a friend of mine, his name is Angelo, he saved me. Yeah, he saved me, and so I'm still alive thanks to him and to some other angels. I think was more than one angel, one like physical material that he saved me, and some other angels around. And but anyway, in that moment, I entered this space of light and peace, and I had this taste of that, and I saw that also if we die, at the end we find the light. And I believe in reincarnation. I believe in the immortality of the soul, of our spirit. So if we don't learn through the fear, and we don't find the key, the way how to overcome this fear and to survive, then anyway we find the light, and in another dimension, and then we can learn, and then come back again in another body. So at the end, everything it will be okay.
Nice.
Yeah. And I would like to say something. I don't know how much time we still have.
Let me see. I don't know.
before the live.
5 minutes.
Okay, so I have time to say this. I was before while you were talking, I was looking at you, and the light is making here on your forehead like the shape of the tail of the whale.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it?
Yes.
It's so nice.
The whales are with us now.
Yes, the whale is your spirit guide.
And water. Yeah.
Yes.
And look, it has the shape of also the monofin.
Yes.
And talking about monofin, I'm also really impressed by your technique. When you met in Spain, I was sick. I could not join in the pool and outside, and also, really, crossing on the water, and it was just so elegant. You have such beautiful elegance, and
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes, to me, freediving, like for you, martial arts. To me, freediving is a dance. You know, the best moment is when you feel like you are dancing, and so you work on your the flexibility of your body and the strength and these feelings about feeling the water and feeling the balance and the harmony of your movement, and so you enter this kind of ecstatic dance. Is that also is something magical.
to be in the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the time has passed very quickly. Now there are so many things, and I would like to still to pull out. But it's been a pleasure. Maybe we could consider, in a later moment to catch up again. Because
Of course,
this was
with pleasure.
almost like a set in the ground, like lay the ground for to expect, I had a thought and to approach many other themes, but we are here in the flow, and we completely lose the sense of time, which is by being this ecstatic
State.
Yeah.
Yes.
State. You'd like to say something as a final message or final sharing, Davide? You have to.
I would like to thank you. I would like to thank you for inviting me. I would like to thanks life for what I'm living, because I'm happy. But of course, I didn't spend all my life happy. I had moments where I was kind of depressed and in crisis. I was feeling like I also thought to kill myself sometimes in this life, and because I passed moments that they were very painful and not nice at all. But then you learn things, and then at the end, life is great, and so I'm grateful for everything, and also while I'm like doing these greetings, I would like also to thank my sponsor, because it allowed me to do this inner search and to train myself, and he provides he helps me with in many different way. My sponsor, it makes like kind of filtration system for water, that also is very nice, because instead of polluting the world with the plastic bottle, we can just drink the name is Aquamea. You can also, I have a t-shirt, but it's too low.
We have only
right.
10 seconds left. It's going to reach the end now. So thank you very much.
So
We're going to touch.
see you